Mapmetrics is an effective way of looking at your metrics and analytics for your transportation moves. Utilizing your data updated on a regular basis via FTP or email, the portal will geocode and analyze your lanes, summarize the data behind each lane, then graphically show via Google Maps information pertinent to that lane and pertinent to the metric being displayed. Let's take a look at one of the screens within the system. Here we're looking at the top 50 lanes by volume. We can select all of our lanes, or we can use a specific origin. So if we select all our lanes, we can select a time period. Here we've selected a year, and that shows a year. If we choose a specific origin and choose a specific date criteria, we can enter the date either by utilizing the little helper, or we can type it in. So let's look at year-to-date through the end of March. So here we're looking at year-to-date through the end of March, and the system displays using an icon the position of your lanes and where it is ranked by the volume. So here we can see lane number 2, and if we move our mouse over lane number 2, it will show you details about that lane. And we can see within that lane, we can see the number of loads in that lane, the number of miles in the lane, the cost per hundredweight. The cost per hundredweight is a cost factor. You can choose different cost factors. You could have cost per ton, cost per pallet, cost per pound, cost per TEU. You choose the cost factor that you want the system to use, and you place that in the profile, and that's how the system will calculate your costs. But it'll also show you the cost per mile for long haul, and for short haul the total line haul cost. And most importantly for this metric, it's going to show you the target cost associated with this lane. You associate a target cost with a lane either using the point-to-point, point-to-state, or an overall parameter for your company. The system will then show whether the lane is meeting the metric or not. And here we can see this lane is meeting the metric. We're $1.91 per mile, and the metric was set at $2.63 a mile. This projects to a savings for this period of $242. That's calculated using the number of miles and the difference between the actual costs we've paid and the target cost. If we look at one of the items in red, the items in red are items that are outside of the metric, i.e. not meeting the metric. Here we can see this one, the target cost is $342.69, and we're actually paying on average $370.37. Thus, in this lane, year to date, we have an opportunity of $581, whereby if we were meeting the metric, we would have saved $581 on this lane. So the lane data is shown here. We can also look over here at the lane data and see in groups of 10 each lane. So we can page through the lanes by clicking the links up the top. We can actually sort the lanes by clicking the title here and sort by mileage. You can sort by the lane. You can sort by any of the items that you see. The first time you click the item, it will sort ascending. The second time you click, it will sort descending. You can also use the ranking markers over here to zoom in on the map. So here, if you want to zoom in on lane 1, you can zoom in here in lane 1. You can zoom in on any particular lane. If we zoom back to lane 2, if you remember lane 2, we're showing 16 carriers with a average cost of $191, and the top carriers being Michigan Metals. You can actually now drill down on the lane also and see a volume graph for the lane, volume graph in terms of the cost, the loads, and also a graph showing what's happened with cost over the period we've selected. And also here you can view the 16 carriers associated with the lane, and you can see how many loads they've moved and what their average line haul has been. Our little gauge here, our gauge is showing where we are in terms of metric, and what this says here on this little gauge is we're 72% of metric. if we look at a lane which is not meter metric here, we can see in this lane we're 123% of metric, i.e. we're 23% over the metric. There are many more other screens and features. For a full demo or to discuss how we can display your metrics within the portal, please contact us via phone or email today.